he's still here on his little 24-hour tour to Scotland.
And we're still doing 25 hour, I think.
25 hour.
And we're still doing port.
And we're still doing port.
This is the House of Hambleton.
Oldest port you've tried?
Yes.
Yes.
Seraphim Cabral Limited.
1871. Now, this is a tricky one. John, can you actually pass me the vintage wine book if possible?
Oh, yes. Let's consult the Bible.
Let's consult the Bible.
I'll do that while you talk.
Okay, so basically, these wines here, from what I understand of them, and there's sketchiness about them, is that 1871 harvest, bottled some point in sort of the 60s, 1960s. And so we don't actually know that much about them. Michael Broadbent.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I could have done this quicker than you. I know exactly where port is in the book.
Yeah, well, that's nice.
You know, it's like those guys on barrows in London.
Okay, right, we've got it. An old vintage tawny.
Yes.
And we need to clarify that has made its appearance under several guises as Quinta de Loureiro at Christie's in 1972, when I first tasted it, and twice, quite coincidentally, at recent dinners, both with the same label, Hambleton Special Reserve Seraphim Cabral, imported by the House of Hambleton, or Hambleton.
Which is a brewery in Yorkshire.
Cork branded Porto Cabral 1871, which shows its authenticity. First at Jeremy Benson's, a magpie collector of oddities, sounds like us, Venice and otherwise. Then at a dinner of the Oxford and Cambridge Club House Committee, looks like a spoon's that club.
Yeah.
Pale tawny indicating many, possibly 50 years in wood, slightly varnishy on the nose, but still sweet and delicious. And he gave it 4 stars in April 2001.
Yeah. So, we're now 23 years on. Broadbent is no longer with us, sadly. And we opened this last night, and it was amazing. Now, as you can see, it's actually quite brown. Now, it wasn't like that. It was a much more tan colour, sort of lighter.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
A lighter browny colour when we opened it. I bought these at auction, and I was a little concerned because it said that there was colour drop. However, we opened this, and my God, it was good.
It was good. It was so floral.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So it's not really a colheita.
No.
So a colheita is, a wine of high quality that usually comes from vineyards higher up where there'll be greater freshness, which will lend it the structure that it needs to stand up to long-term wood age. After 7 years in a small barrel pipa, it officially becomes a tawny, and then basically it's a tawny that's from a single harvest that is in wood for however long and then bottled. And that's kind of what this is, but it's, they didn't really have the term colheita in the mid-19th century to distinguish it from vintage. So this is kind of vintage port that has just, whether intended or not, has been in wood for
a long time.
I think this was bottled in the 60s, did you say?
Well, that's what I thought from other research I've done. Broadbent thinks it's sort of at least 50 years in oak.
Yeah.
So we just don't know. I mean, the bottle, if you look, the bottle here is very similar to the 1970 Grahams.
Yeah.
That's
a classic bottle shape for sort of the 60s, 70s,
and
50s.
you can also see it's not hand blown because there's a seam down it. So this is machine made.
Yeah.
So this bottle certainly would have come in probably in that sort of 50s, 60s, 70s age. It's a little It's like we're Holmes and Watson.
Yes, exactly.
Of port.
Yes, we are. We're solving the mystery.
Yeah,
no, you don't.
Drug addiction.
No, you don't. Yes. Where's my opium when I need it? I usually have it. But this is fascinating. When we opened it, it was insanely aromatic.
But this has now been open for 12 hours?
And it's still fine.
It's lost a little bit of the vibrancy. It's a little more mellow. It's more sort of toffee and sort of sweet raisinous, pruniness.
Yeah.
So it's almost sticky toffee pudding almost.
Yeah, but in a very elegant way, not in an overbearing way.
And the palate is sort of cigar smoke.
But this is why I want
sweetness.
Another reason why I want to contest this as a colheita and all but name is because there is sediment here.
Yes, there is.
So this hasn't been filtered.
Well, but that even if it went in, it may have had, it will have lost some of that with time, and that would be the colour drop that they were talking about.
Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So when we opened it, it was really had a lot of aromatic vibrancy, sort of dried rose petals, like it was really rosy, violety, wonderful. I mean, I know those are classic characteristics of vintage port, but this really was for a wine that is quite developed.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely wonderful wine, which you do see around at auction. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's-
I mean, that's why I got it.
And if you can call it accessible, it is probably the most likely, reliably good
Yes.
19th century port that you can find, and
Yeah.
will actually be able to get your hands on.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
is, and it also, you know, allows you to explore the category of creative versus vintage port. This is kind of both.
Yes,
Which
true.
is wonderful.
True.
And also just what port tasted like and what people wanted from it in the 19th century.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely banging.
Sweaty ball juice.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.
And I'm buying my bottle.
I'll explain the. Look back on TikTok. Well, there's the whole people.
Don't go on TikTok.
Don't go on TikTok.
Bye.